Hey guys, welcome back. For today, we're gonna review a director by the name of Wes Anderson. And if you're not familiar with who he is, he helped direct the films Mr. Fantastic Fox and Isle of Dogs. Just so you guys know that Mr. Fantastic Fox was originally a book written by Roald Dahl. I'm most likely butchering his name, but he's a famous writer who also wrote the book Matilda, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are familiar with who the fiction character Matilda is, and also the BFG, as in the big friendly giant, not the big effing guy. Yeah, I just wanted to go over those two films that he directed. They both have a very similar but different style. They're both stop motion animation, but they give off a completely different feel. So for Mr. Fantastic Fox, I don't want to be giving too much away. There's not going to be any spoilers for this, but I do just want to reference a few points as to why I think this movie should definitely be on your watch list. One thing interesting is that Mr. Fantastic Fox actually came out in the year 2009, and if you watch the movie, it's gonna feel very relatable to the extent where you did not realize that this film was released so far back. Most of you who probably will be rewatching this film will be able to relate to the parents than the kids initially when the film was released. But yeah, one thing that I really like about the Mr. Fantastic Fox is that they use a lot of warm colors. So despite what kind of situation there is, they're not really stuck in this form of demise. The main character always seems to have a solution versus just being obsolete in any kind of form. And that's one thing that I really like about the film, is that it's very family friendly. It is filled with a lot of adult humor. It's very witty with the references that they use, but even though it's just like Shrek, where this film essentially aged like fine wine, you can definitely understand the humor that they're referencing as an adult and as a child. What's really cool about this film is that they use a lot of well-known actors that you would have been pretty surprised that they decided to do some voice acting roles. For the main character, it's voiced by George Clooney. So that's definitely a surprise, given the fact that he's played a lot of serious roles. So for him to play a character where the story is filled with a lot of absurdity and humor, it really sets a different tone. You also get other actors in the film, such as Owen Wilson, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with that actor. You get William Dafoe. I'm not going to say who he plays, but that's another prominent actor that comes out in this film. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with William Dafoe. He's the Green Goblin. But there's another actor that also comes out, and you guys may not be very familiar with him, but he was definitely a very famous actor in a lot older films, and his name is Bill Murray. But yeah, other than that, he comes out in this film. A lot of very famous actors, so you really do get to see their skills just shine in this film. Again, it's filled with so much humor. You guys are really going to enjoy this film, and it's always going to come to a shock the fact that this film was actually released back in 2009. But yeah, Wes Anderson definitely does really well bringing the book not essentially to life, but into stop motion animation. Basically, essentially animating the book. And then we also have Isle of Dogs, which is a very funny movie with a lot of humor that you would not expect. So with Isle of Dogs, it's a little bit different with the humor that they deliver. It's a little bit more political. It's referencing a lot of things that, not a lot of things, but more so it's referencing a lot of oppression within a different country. I don't want to reference that country, but I recommend you guys to watch the film so that you guys have an idea what's exactly they're talking about. But you do get another cast of actors that are just delivering their voice in a different view, and it's just extremely enjoyable. Like for this cast in Isle of Dogs, which is obviously directed by Wes Anderson, you get Bill Murray as well, who comes on in the film. If you haven't seen any of his movies, I recommend you guys to go watch. If you guys are familiar with the movie Groundhog Day, that's one of the biggest movies that he's came out in. He's also came out in this other movie called Sleepless in Seattle. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch him. But the main character, before I mention the main character, another honorable mention is Scarlett Johansson, which is the widow from the Marvel Universe, who plays one of the co-main, maybe not co-main characters, maybe like the co-main character, but that's another big actress that comes out in this film. And then you also get Jeff Goldblum, the guy from, I was going to say The Lost World, which you guys probably already know, but if anything, it's better to reference Wicked, who plays the wizard, Oz or whatever, I think. I don't know, I haven't seen the film, but he's Jeff Goldblum kind of thing. But for the main actor of this film, you have Bryan Cranston, who is, most of you guys know him by Walter White, but for me, I know him more as Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, the dad. His voice in this film, it's excellent. It's like you can hear him, but at the same time you don't. It's like he's just so immersed into the main character in this film. Like when you watch the Isle of Dogs, it's a very dystopian setting, again, because it's relating to a lot of oppression within the certain country of the film. But ultimately the movie revolves around the dogs, which essentially their premise is more of loyalty, friendship, and just feeling isolated. You really do get to see these friendships form and like these trust bonds being built in the film. Essentially, you also feel you can relate to in the sense of being like ostracized. There's a lot of exile going on with some of these characters, and how they just essentially not redeem themselves for anybody else, but for themselves is pretty much. Isle of Dogs is a little bit more serious, but it's still filled with a lot of comedy. Oh, another voice actor in the film is Liev Schreiber. I'm probably butchering his name, but he's the guy that acts as Sabretooth in the X-Men series, the live action with Hugh Jackman, where Hugh Jackman and Liev Schreiber team up to take on Deadpool, which is acted by Ryan Reynolds, but before he got his whole suit kind of thing, and he was a little bit more ugly. But yeah, he's another actor that plays that voices in the Isle of Dogs. Yeah, I don't want to be giving too much away about these two films directed by Wes Anderson. I highly recommend you guys to watch it. There's definitely an age gap between Isle of Dogs and Mr. Fantastic Fox. Mr. Fantastic Fox came out in 2009 and Isle of Dogs came out in 2018. So, if I'm correct, maybe by the year 2027, we'll get another film directed by Wes Anderson, since there's like a 9-year gap kind of thing going on, but I don't know. We'll see. Crossing my fingers. Hey, he does a wonderful job, not just by animating these films with the style that he's using, with the realism of the fur, but there's always a very deep meaning and message behind all of his films. And I'll leave that for you guys to discover. I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to ruin everything for you. I want you guys to be able to experience that for yourselves. This movie is definitely relatable from all across continents, countries, globally, essentially. But yeah, hopefully you guys understood me. Maybe I convinced you guys to go watch the film, and hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I hope you guys enjoy that absolute cinema.